What happens when you take literally the most talented soccer teams on earth, right? And you just strip away their traditional goal scorers.
You force them to play a style a style we really haven't ever seen at a World Cup before.
Exactly. And today, staring at these official May 2026 Phase 1 confirmed squad lists, honestly, it looks like a tactical crisis is brewing.
Yeah, it's a fascinating problem to have, honestly. I mean, for decades, international football was built around the solitary elite striker.
Right, the classic target man.
Yeah, the guy just standing in the middle of the penalty box waiting to finish the play. But looking at these specific rosters, that era might just be over.
And that is exactly the puzzle we are unpacking today. So welcome to a very special, highly energetic sports edition of The Deep Dive.
Absolutely.
Now you, our listener, are in for a massive treat today because we are officially taking over pundit duties on behalf of the Black Mambas for Football or Soccer Podcast.
Which is quite the responsibility, stepping in for Etienne Newman.
It really is.
Yeah.
And, for those tuning in from outside their specific community, Etienne is a senior engineer and just a hugely passionate soccer dad, broadcasting straight out of Calgary, Alberta in Canada.
Right.
He has built an incredible community with the Black Mambas. And today, Etienne, we are executing a hyper-focused tactical preview of the 2026 World Cup, just for you.
Specifically, we're putting the offensive attacking units, the forwards, the wingers, the strikers, strictly under the microscope.
But we do have to set some ground rules for the listener first.
Yeah, very important. We are basing this entire analysis strictly on the official May 2026 Phase 1 confirmed squad lists.
Only the real verified data.
Exactly. If it's not on the paper, we aren't talking about it.
Right, so let's unpack this because Etienne actually wanted us to break down the Netherlands, Argentina, and Colombia today as well.
Oh, wow.
I know. But Etienne, you know the deep dive rules. We simply cannot analyze what is not officially confirmed in our source material.
Yeah, those nations just haven't released their Phase 2 squads yet.
Right, so we are sticking 100% to the facts today. We're diving into the heavyweights who are actually confirmed on paper right now.
Which includes France, Brazil, England, Germany, Japan, Senegal, the USA, and actually a late-breaking Newswire update on Spain.
Which honestly gives us the perfect sample size to test our main theory for this tournament.
Yeah, because this World Cup is really shaping up to be a massive tactical tug-of-war.
Totally.
On one side, you have the few teams desperately clinging to the traditional central number 9, and on the other side, you have teams attempting to replace that role entirely with highly fluid, wide-attacking systems.
So let's just test that theory right at the top, looking at the early attacking power rankings from May 2026.
The heavyweights.
Exactly. We're looking at the only two teams rated 9.5 or higher, France sitting at a wild 9.7 out of 10, and Brazil right behind them at a 9.5.
Both heavy favorites, and both, interestingly, heavily reliant on their wide players.
Let's start with France, because their forward roster is just terrifying.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
You've got Kylian Mbappe, who is now officially at Real Madrid.
Right.
Ousmane Dembélé at PSG, and Michael Olise at Bayern Munich.
Plus, Desiree Doué giving them that youthful dynamism.
I mean, on paper, that front line is unstoppable.
On paper, yes, absolutely. You are looking at arguably the deepest and fastest front line in the entire tournament.
Yeah.
Tactically, their intended mechanism is pure versatility. They want to dominate you in transition moments. So, when the ball changes possession and your defense is disorganized, using pure pace.
And if that fails?
If that fails, they want to systematically break you down through structured possession. I mean, Mbappe is the centerpiece, obviously. Dembélé brings elite unpredictability on the dribble, and Olise provides that creative final ball passing.
But see, here is where I have to play the skeptical pundit and push back a little.
Okay, let's hear it.
Because despite that massive 9.7 rating, our source document highlights a pretty glaring flaw. They do not have a guaranteed number 9.
Which is true.
Look at the central strikers they brought. Marcus Thuram from Inter Milan, Randall Kolo Muani from Juventus, and Hugo Ekitike from Eintracht Frankfurt.
3 entirely different profiles.
Exactly. I mean, Thuram gives you vertical running and physical presence, sure, but the tactical document explicitly states none of them has actually made the central position his own.
Right.
To use an analogy, it's like having a pristine V8 engine connected to a faulty transmission. You can rev all you want with Mbappe and Dembélé out on the wings, but if that power never translates to the center of the box where the goals actually happen, you go nowhere.
And that faulty transmission is exactly what opponents are going to target. The major tactical weakness here is the risk of stalling.
Wait, stalling. How does a team with Kylian Mbappe stall? Walk me through what that actually looks like on the pitch.
So picture the opposing defense, right? If France's central striker role remains unsettled, a smart opponent will utilize what we call a low block.
Right, sitting deep.
Exactly. When we say a low block, we mean a defense that parks all its players deep in their own penalty area, acting like a human wall. They flat out refuse to give Mbappe any space to run into behind them.
So they essentially force France to just play the ball around in front of them.
Precisely. And if the central striker isn't commanding attention or, winning physical battles inside that packed penalty area, France's attacking patterns just dry up.
Wow.
The wings get totally isolated, and the team becomes completely dependent on Mbappe to just manufacture a goal out of thin air against 3 defenders.
Which is an enormous burden, even for the best player in the world.
It really is.
So, if France shows the dangers of having a shaky central presence, what about Brazil? Rated 9.5 out of 10 under Carlo Ancelotti.
The explosive wide talent here is just outrageous.
It really is. You've got Vinicius Jr. and Endrick at Real Madrid, Rafinha at FC Barcelona.
Yeah.
Plus Gabriel Martinelli bringing devastating pace off the bench for Arsenal, and Luis Henrique from Zenit St. Petersburg providing even more width.
It's an elite collection of wingers, no doubt. Vinicius and Rafinha are meant to stretch the field, while Endrick is there to provide the penalty box finishing.
Right.
But what's fascinating here is the mechanism Ancelotti is relying on introduces a massive variable, and that's Neymar.
Neymar, who is now playing for Santos and is actually listed as a forward/number 10 in this confirmed squad.
And that positioning is the key to Brazil's entire tactical setup. Because Brazil's wide players are so incredibly aggressive, they absolutely need a creator operating directly in the middle of the pitch.
Someone between the midfield and the forwards to distribute the ball.
Exactly. But the tactical breakdown highlights a massive vulnerability. Brazil's biggest question is central finishing consistency.
Because, if Neymar isn't pulling the strings perfectly, who is actually scoring?
That's exactly the problem. Neymar's fitness and match sharpness are huge, unpredictable variables entering this tournament.
And if Neymar isn't sharp, Ancelotti has to rely on Matheus Cunha from Wolves or Igor Thiago from Brentford to find consistency centrally.
Right.
And if they can't command that space, Brazil's explosive wing strategy just hits a brick wall.
The overarching lesson from both France and Brazil is that, you can have all the wide talent in the world, but if nobody is consistently pulling defenders out of position in the center or putting the ball in the net from the 6-yard box, your wings are neutralized.
So if relying so heavily on wide players is a potential trap, does playing a traditional central battering ram actually fix the problem?
Well, let's pivot to 2 European giants with completely opposing philosophies on that. England and Germany.
Oh, this is a great comparison.
The contrast between these 2 rosters is a masterclass in tactical theory. It's the ultimate test of rigid structure versus total fluidity.
Let's start with England, rated 9.0 out of 10. Thomas Tuchel has built what looks like a pure physical force.
Definitely.
You have Harry Kane at Bayern Munich dropping deep, Bukayo Saka out wide for Arsenal, Anthony Gordon from Newcastle bringing the pace in behind.
Yeah.
And for pure finishing depth, you've got Ollie Watkins at Aston Villa and Ivan Toney at Al Ahly. Oh, and Noni Madueke from Arsenal on the right.
It is a system built entirely on identifiable reference points. Every single player has a very specific job.
I also have to call out a massive club move in the source data here. Marcus Rashford is now officially listed at FC Barcelona.
Yeah, a fascinating transfer that adds another layer of direct attacking threat to their left side.
For sure.
But despite all those massive names, Tuchel's squad carries a very specific structural critique in our source document. England lacks technical creators in this specific squad.
The report explicitly calls that out. But for you, the listener, what does that actually mean when the whistle blows? How does a lack of technical creators hurt a team with Harry Kane?
Well, it means their attack becomes mathematically predictable.
Yeah.
Technical creators are the players who can patiently thread a pass through the eye of a needle in the middle of the park. England doesn't really have those personnel here. So picture the pitch. If an opposing team manages to surround and isolate Harry Kane in the center, England loses their ability to progress the ball up the middle entirely.
Because Kane is their primary link-up guy. So if he is smothered by 3 defenders, where does the ball go?
It is forced out wide every single time. England will be forced to rely almost exclusively on wing creation.
Meaning Saka, Rashford, or Gordon just sprinting down the sideline and swinging crosses into the box.
Exactly, just hoping for secondary runs from the midfield.
It's totally binary. If plan A gets shut down, they just revert to aimless crossing.
Right.
Now let's look at the absolute polar opposite. A team that looked at England's battering ram and basically said, no thanks, we'll just play out a central striker entirely. Germany, rated just behind them at 8.9.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, Germany is the anti-England. If England is a battering ram, Germany is a scalpel.
I like that.
Their attack is designed to be fluid, intelligent, and highly interchangeable.
Just look at the roster. Jamal Musiala at Bayern, Kai Havertz at Arsenal, Leroy Sané, who is shockingly now at Galatasaray.
Yeah, wild move.
And Florian Wirtz is listed at Liverpool. You also have Deniz Undav and Jamie Luling from Stuttgart, Maximilian Bayer from Dortmund, and Nick Wolfmade at Newcastle.
It's a spectacular group of technical, nimble players.
But I have to ask the obvious question here. Where is their Harry Kane? Like, where is the guy whose only job is to put the ball in the net?
And they don't have one.
Yeah.
And that is their stated tactical weakness. Germany lacks a guaranteed elite volume finisher.
Wait, how do you win a World Cup without a reliable goal scorer? Walk me through the mechanism of how Germany actually plans to score goals.
They are attempting to generate attacking superiority through sheer intelligence and chaos.
Okay.
Because they don't have a static modules. Number 9, players like Musiala, Wirtz, and Havertz are constantly rotating positions. They drop into the midfield, they sprint out wide, they pull defenders out of their structural zones.
It's a constant movement.
Right. The idea is to create so much confusion and open space between the defensive lines that the lack of a pure striker doesn't matter. Whoever ends up in the open space takes the shot.
So instead of relying on one guy to score 30 goals, they rely on 5 guys to score 6 goals each, just by totally disorienting the opponent.
Exactly. But if an opponent stays disciplined and refuses to be pulled out of position, Germany's lack of a pure finisher becomes a glaring issue.
Which brings me to a question for you, the listener, right now. Visualize a tight, gritty knockout game. You're down by 1 goal with 10 minutes left. Which mechanism do you trust?
It's a tough call.
Right. A guaranteed goal scorer like Kane, or the unpredictable fluidity of Wirtz and Musiala.
It is the defining tactical debate of the tournament. And it becomes even more complex when we step away from the technical perfection of the European giants and look at teams rated in the 8s.
Yes, let's shift to teams that rely on entirely different mechanisms to win: athleticism, intense pressing, and dynamic wing play. I'm talking about Japan, Senegal, and the United States.
Good group.
Let's start with Japan, coming in at an 8.4 out of 10.
Japan's attacking mechanism is built on speed, relentless movement, pressing intensity, and really quick transitions.
They have Takefusa Kubo at Real Sociedad, Ayase Ueda at Feyenoord, Kyogo Furuhashi at Rennes, plus Kita Nakamura and Junya Ito at Reims.
Yeah.
But a huge part of their system is Daisen Maeda at Celtic, who just creates absolute chaos high up the pitch by constantly sprinting at defenders who have the ball.
That high press is crucial because Japan uses it to force turnovers close to the opponent's goal.
But hold on, I need to put on my investigative pundit hat for a second here, because I found a massive contradiction in our sources.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the Phase 1 roster breakdown explicitly lists Kaoru Mitoma from Brighton as a key part of their elite ball progression.
Right, he's essential.
But Akiti, if you look at the breaking news wire from the BBC that just came across our desk, it explicitly states, and I quote, "Injured Mitoma left out of squad."
Oh, wow. That is a phenomenal catch. And tactically, that alters Japan's entire trajectory.
Because the document already states their main weakness. Against deeper defenses, Japan lacks physical dominance in the penalty area and struggles with finishing efficiency.
Exactly.
If they face a low block, pressing doesn't work because the opponent isn't trying to pass out of the back. So how much does losing Mitoma actually hurt them?
It severely compromises their ability to bypass that human wall. Mitoma is what we call a primary lock picker.
The lock picker, okay.
Yeah. When speed and pressing fail against a deep defense, you need a winger who can simply dribble past a defender one-on-one and break the structure. Without him, Japan's inability to physically dominate the penalty area is going to be glaringly exposed.
It's like taking the master key away from a team staring at a locked door. A really tough blow for Japan.
Huge blow.
Let's look at Senegal, rated slightly higher at 8.6.
Senegal operates with a different type of physical dominance entirely. They are all about pace, athleticism, and directness.
Right, and Sadio Mane, now at Al Nassr, remains their undisputed leader.
He's the focal point.
You also have Ismail Assar at Crystal Palace, providing dangerous wing penetration. Iliman Ndiaye at Everton adding creativity, and Habib Diallo at Metz and Boulaye Dia at Salernitana.
Plus Nicholas Jackson at Chelsea stretching the back lines.
Right.
They have the physical tools to hurt absolutely anyone. They generate incredibly dangerous attacking scenarios, but their tactical flaw is the final action finishing consistency.
Which honestly feels like the most frustrating problem a team can have.
It really is. I mean, you can stretch a backline all day long with the raw speed of Jackson and Sarr, but generating a chance is only half the battle.
Right.
If you don't convert those chances against top-tier opposition, like France or Brazil, you will be punished on the counterattack.
To use another analogy, you can stretch a rubber band as far as you want, but if you don't let it snap, it doesn't do any actual damage.
Well said.
Speaking of needing to convert under pressure, let's talk about the United States, rated at 8.2 out of 10. I am incredibly hyped to see Mauricio Pochettino's USMNT Frontline.
It is a very dynamic group.
You have Fuller and Balogun at Monaco making runs behind the defensive line, Ricardo Pepi at PSV Eindhoven offering box finishing, and Tim Way at Juventus adding width and pace.
Yep.
Plus Haji Wright at Coventry City and Alejandro Zendejas at Club America. And of course the focal point Christian Pulisic at AC Milan.
But this raises an important question regarding the U.S. weakness. The source text questions whether they can finish reliably in high-pressure tournament moments.
Why is that specifically tied to Pulisic, though?
Because the U.S. attack is at severe risk of becoming a single point of failure. They can become completely over-dependent on Pulisic for all of their ball progression and chance creation.
Walk me through how a defense exploits that.
It's just simple defensive mathematics. If Pochettino hasn't developed alternative, reliable avenues for chance creation, opposing managers will simply double-team Pulisic every time he touches the ball.
Wow, yeah.
They'll sacrifice a defender to neutralize him and just dare the rest of the U.S. squad to beat them. In a high-pressure knockout moment, you need multiple pressure valves. If the entire creative burden falls on Pulisic, the attack freezes.
It's the exact same structural problem France has with Mbappe, just executed on a different scale.
And it perfectly illustrates the central theme of this tournament.
Okay, we are in the final stretch here, and we simply cannot wrap up without talking about the late drop.
The Spanish squad.
Yes. Just as the Phase 1 power rankings ended, a breaking news wire from the BBC dropped the Spanish squad, demanding our immediate pundit reaction.
Right, because Spain wasn't even ranked in the initial Phase 1 document because Luis de la Fuente waited until the last possible second to reveal his 26-man squad.
And the drama in this roster is unbelievable. For the first time in history, a Spanish World Cup squad has 0 Real Madrid players.
Incredible.
No Dean Huyson, no Dani Carvajal. Real Madrid finished 8 points behind La Liga champions Barcelona, won 0 trophies, and De La Fuente just left them all at home.
Instead, he brought an incredibly technical group of forwards.
Who did he bring?
Yeremy Pino from Crystal Palace, Victor Munoz from Osasuna, Mikel Oyarzabal from Real Sociedad, Borja Iglesias from Celta Vigo, and the Barcelona trio Ferran Torres, Dani Olmo, and Lamine Yamal. Plus, Nico Williams from Athletic Bilbao.
Okay, I have to push you on this because, so what does this all mean? De La Fuente defended the lack of Real Madrid players by claiming he focuses on the, quote, global picture, not local bias.
Right.
But look at the medical risks he is taking to execute this wide attacking system. 18-year-old Lamine Yamal tore his left hamstring in April, missed the final month of the season, and he is still on the plane.
Yeah.
Nico Williams has been struggling with a lingering hamstring problem, and he is on the plane. Is carrying these injured stars a tactical masterstroke or just a catastrophic risk?
If we look at the mechanics of tournament football, it is a catastrophic risk.
Probably.
Absolutely. International tournaments are grueling. You play a high-intensity match every few days. We just spent this entire deep dive discussing how vital wide players are to modern tactics.
Right.
If you're carrying a star teenager recovering from a hamstring tear and another starting winger with a hamstring issue, you are playing with fire.
Because if either of them aggravates those injuries, Spain's width completely collapses.
Precisely. And if your width collapses, you cannot bypass the center of the defense. De La Fuente is betting his entire World Cup campaign on his medical staff and the sheer passion of these players, which he explicitly called out in his press conference.
You did. Excitement is the key word. Passion, he said. I just don't know if passion repairs muscle tissue, my friend.
It rarely does. but it perfectly highlights the tactical desperation we're seeing across all these rosters today.
Bring it all together for the listener.
Yeah.
What is the defining mechanism of this 2026 World Cup attacking meta?
The meta is absolutely defined by the rise of the hybrid winger.
Okay.
Your Mbappes, Vinny Jr.'s, Saka's, Williams, Pulisic's, they are all being asked to overcompensate for a global shortage of traditional locked-in number 9s. Every team we discussed, from France to Germany to Spain, is trying to solve the puzzle of how to score consistently without heavily relying on a solitary, old-school target man.
Yeah.
They're using speed, fluid positioning, and wide isolation to try and bypass the center of the defense entirely.
It is going to make for an incredibly fast-paced and incredibly unpredictable tournament.
No doubt.
Well, a massive thank you again to Etienne Newman and the entire Calgary soccer community tuning in via the Black Mambas for Football or Soccer podcast. Etienne, we did it. We broke down the confirmed tactical lists.
We certainly did.
And remember, we will have to wait for Phase 2 to get into the Netherlands, Argentina, and Colombia. We follow the verified facts here.
It's been a brilliant exercise in tactical reality versus expectation, and I want to leave you, the listener, with a final question to ponder as we head into the group stages.
Let's hear it.
As modern defenses get more and more sophisticated, playing deeper, utilizing tighter low blocks to eliminate space, is the era of the solo, high-volume striker truly dead? Or will the teams that lack one ultimately be exposed when the games get tight? I encourage you to watch how these specific hybrid wingers perform when they are forced to break down human walls in the group stages to find out.
An amazing thought to leave on. Thank you so much for joining this World Cup deep dive. Keep your tactical eye sharp, and we will catch you next time.